Okay, interesting. Although I sent the link, I thought this is worth running through. India to redefine the air quality standard in 2022. It has not happened yet. This is a news from 2021. Okay, it's almost a year. See, you must understand the national air quality was adopted in 1982 for the first time in India. Adopted meaning it's only on paper, and it was revised in 1994 and 2009. In the last document that I've seen in full-fledged level was in 2009. It did not have many things that you would find in an air quality standard. Of course, you will find the PM particle 2.5 micron and PM 10, nitrogen oxide, sulfur oxide, nitrous oxides and sulfur oxide, carbon monoxide, ozone, benzene, and even ammonia. I don't know whether it was there. I think it might have been there. And you see, India has one of the worst air quality right now. Okay, whether it is you need to have a real bad air quality and kill a lot of people so that you will become developed is not an excuse. It's not good an excuse. Okay, let me take you to another page, just quickly. Over 99% of India's population breathe air that exceeds the World Health Quality because they have not moved the standard. So if you look at in terms of the World Health Quality, World Health Organization standard, PM standard, which is supposed to be somewhere around 8 or 10 right now, you know, but India is well over a couple of hundred, or even more than that. So that's all. In the rest, I don't want to spend much time going through finite details which you can read and understand yourself. എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ നമുക്ക് ഇമ്പ്രൂവ്മെന്റ് വേണം, but that doesn't mean നമ്മൾ ആൾക്കാരെ കൊല്ലണമെന്ന് നിർബന്ധമില്ല. You can compromise, you can do it a lot more better. And I will actually give you the 2009 standard. That is the last standing standard even to date. അത് കാണുമ്പോൾ അറിയാം, at least meet that standard. Our pollution control board at least must drive home the point that you need to meet that standard. But they have made relaxed standards for hot mix plants and the surrounding area because you need to give them more room. Even after giving more room, I've seen Central Pollution Board controls another document where they have tabulated a few plants, a drum type and stack type. The one in Kadapa is a drum type. So you only need to look at it, and it is not possible to meet those standards. No, it will not meet any of the ambient air quality or any of the standards. Even those relaxed standards it cannot meet. So the best way pollution control is hide it. Don't show it. Don't measure it or falsify the measurement. That's not a nice way of doing things. So who is that to argue? The problem in all these cases is, pollution control board is not the expert. അത് ആദ്യം തന്നെ എസ്റ്റാബ്ലിഷ് ചെയ്യണം. അത് എസ്റ്റാബ്ലിഷ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് എങ്ങനെ? You must bring standards that was used elsewhere in the world and bring it and show it to them. And then the court must be convinced, every court must be convinced that pollution control board does not have the capability, and we have evidence. The pollution control board does not know that. Even independent labs will vet that statement. I have audio recording that was stated. Independent labs telling that this pollution control board has nothing. They cannot do anything. If you cannot do anything, and if you don't understand these things, how do you control anything? I will briefly now run through a document which is actually the last known from the Central Pollution Control Board's their repository. Okay, you can actually get this, and from that document you can find these chapters. How the national ambient air quality, it's a revised, and it is last revised only in 2009. You must understand that. Nothing better than that. So these were already there in 2016, and it has not changed since then. How it should be measured, and each of the parameters with specific to industrial, residential, and other areas. So let's say we fall into ecologically sensitive areas. I don't know what to say, and that will be way too. And if children and if, so it ought to be somewhere in between this one, or it should be below this one. Let's say this is the worst case it should be. Even these things, our pollution control board is not capable. In many of these documents you see Kerala Pollution Control Board is terribly lacking. Not that any of the locations can even meet any of those standards. At the very least, you will see even in the circulars, the Pollution Control Board, Kerala Pollution Control Board, they are quietly eliminating all the particles and the particle requirements. They are only going on sulfur oxides and all that, which most people cannot measure. But particle measurements are easier these days, and none of these standards any of our plants will meet. That plant in Kadapra or anywhere, they will not meet. In the nearby region, don't even need 50 meters or 20 meters or 25 meters. You can even be 500 meters away and you will not meet any of these things. Okay? So it clearly says, if you read this document in detail, you'll understand how it should be measured, and they are not capable of doing any of these things. All the write-up and all the stories mean nothing. It's on paper, everything looks good, but nothing is implemented. Once again, I tell you, that is the problem. And hold them to the standards. You don't say there is no standard. There is standards. Standards under, but not implemented. എന്ത് പറഞ്ഞാൽ മതി. It is very relaxed standard, but yet it cannot be met. This is not something that we can implement it. Pollution Control Board is the one that has to implement this. And they are not even capable of doing it themselves. And the labs are not capable of doing many of these things. And we have verbal audio recording that explains how the labs explain that the Pollution Control Board cannot do anything. Pollution Control Board does not want to do it. They know these readings will not meet the standards, so they don't want to do it. So it's all hoodwinking. Hoodwinking the public, hoodwinking the courts. It's their drama, under a pretext that they are the experts. The third document that you can take information, level on ambient air quality. Ambient air quality must be met, but a hot mix plant will never be able to meet that. In the vicinity of a hot mix plant, while in operation, nothing will be there. No matter what they use, they can have wet scrubbers, they can have bag filters, brand new bag filters, and everything. They will not meet. And here is the proof. This is from Central Pollution Board, where I'm not even doing anything from EPA yet. I've all that, but I'm not even bringing that up yet. So let's start with this one. This is the Central Pollution Board standards. And so they have run through before quantifying. Just they wanted to test many plants, plants, or many types of hot mix, and they are only limited to doing this based on what. And I don't think they can even do VOCs. Okay? There's a volatile organic compounds, which is a variety of them, and among which there are a lot of toxins. So leave alone that. The first thing that they need to do is particles. PM 2.5 and PM 10. Those are the only two things that they can do. Sulfur oxides, nitrous oxide, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and VOCs. Okay, methane, ammonia, and all those they can do, but let's stay on the more damaging ones or the more easier to measure stuff. Okay, the pollution control modes. There's a lot of write-up, that they can use back filters and all those things. Finally, in spite of using all that, the drum type, we will stay on the type of the drum type. We will not do on the batch type, which is silos. So the plant in Kadapara is the drum type. Okay, that is 60 tons or something like that, production tons per hour. Okay, so it is one of these things. They will never meet the ambient air quality standards. You see, these are sampling. No matter what they do, whether they are multi-cone, multi-cyclone, and scrubbers, and using all that, in spite of that, they still have these things. And they will not meet the particle counts, they will not meet. So especially for hot mix plants, they are suggesting a different standard for hot mix plants. Okay, they were suggesting a different set of standards. For drum type, they should meet this kind of standards. But even this they won't know. They will exceed all of these if really properly measured. And that was just to show you that. And now, of course, if anybody is deeply interested, they'll have to take this document and study this through and through before saying anything else.